and it's gone. Poof.
Master shall know unending power.
Your kind shall never ordain the first edict. And now, you.
Feel the kill!
Redemption. The enemy returns. This world must be purged! Your destiny is foretold! civilization died for nothing.
You follow them in my name. Donwell sees you. Your duty goes on. Donwell sees you. Show them oblivion. Now choose your fate. Death is never the end. Pure hatred remain. Horizon of eternal sorrow. You exhaust.
You must learn to accept the truth. Stay calm. This is unbridled wrath. Now you will see true darkness. Stupid rat! What have you done?
Will you complete the rite of the Nameless?
Yes, I revoke my name.
You are chosen!
This power must be hers. Embrace night. To the death!
Hello! How you can see, with this build we can easily clear all the content in this game. But before I explain the build, I want to be honest about one thing. This build is squishy. It's not a giant energy shield build, it's not armor, evasion, deflection, nothing. We have only mana as our defensive layer. This is high risk and high reward Stormweaver build. It was also indirectly nerfed compared to patch 0.4 because Life Leech now has a maximum 40,000 damage cap and Leech works only from one source. And we use Life Leech a lot. But the build still works, and the reason it works is because the damage is extremely high and the defensive layer built around mana, life recovery and remnant. Build is not immortal, and if you play it correctly, it deletes content before the content deletes you. Let's talk about damage and where it comes from. It has three main sources. First one is Adonia Ego, unique item. Second is Archmage, persistent buff. And the third one is Arcane Intensity on the passive tree. Let's talk about Adonia Ego first. This one gives us a lot of important things. It gives Pinnacle of Power skill. It gives +1 maximum power charge. It gives +3 level to all spell skills. It gives maximum mana. Also it gives cast speed. But it has one massive downside. For every power charge, we lose elemental resistances. So the idea is simple, we want to generate as many power charges as possible, then we consume them with Pinnacle of Power, after that get a huge elemental damage buff. But we don't want to keep power charges during the fight, because then our elemental resistances become terrible. So we're gonna use two weapon sets for this build. Pinnacle of Power is simple. It just consumes all your power charges, and for each power charge consumed, we get more elemental damage. The buff also makes all elemental damage contribute to elemental ailments, and this is very important for this build because we use all three elements, cold, fire and lightning. And we use cast on elemental ailment with meteor, so the basic loop is generate power charges, consume them, get a huge elemental damage buff, kill everything during the buff window, repeat. I will explain the full loop later, because this is where the Stormweaver becomes very important. As I mentioned before, this build uses mana as both a damage and defensive layer, because we stack mana for Archmage and Arcane Intensity. It also increases our effective health pool. Normally I have around 3,500 mana, but with Mana Remnants I can overflow to around 5,000. For casting, I use life instead of mana, using life tap support in every skill I use. That means life recovery becomes extremely important. And the Covenant solves this problem. It provides life remnant skill, life, and spell damage leached as life. And we actually need cultivated version of this unique to remove the additional life cost modifier and replace it with life cost efficiency, which makes the build much more smoother. Mana Remnants help sustain and overflow mana. Life Remnants and Life Leech keep us alive while spending life to cast spells. And this is the reason why I play Stormweaver, since it has excellent Remnant passive skills. I will show it to you later. So the core idea is simple: use mana for damage and defense, and spend life to cast spells, and recover life and mana through Remnants and Leech. And let Stormweaver support the entire Remnant engine. Let's deep dive into the build. How you can see, I'm a Stormweaver, level 95, with almost 300 intelligence. And I don't have any of this Arcane Search branch, Mana Regen, or any of this shock and free stuff allocated. What I really want in this build is Storm's Recollection, which helps me collect remnants from further away and makes remnants reappear after 3 seconds after being collected. And that means any remnants, not only elemental ones. And that's important because that means life remnants we have on our body armor. That means also remnants from Frost Bomb. It affects Siphon elements, which creates elemental remnants and mana remnants. And also we have fire remnants we create with Living Bomb, which I use in custom crit setup. Yeah, fire infusion remnant, that's cool. Then we have a refracted infusion node. It's also important for this build. This helps us generate even more infusions, because whenever we collect one infusion, it gives us another infusion of a different element type. So it helps keep the whole triple element engine running. Then we take one travel node into Elemental Storm. It's like a bonus, nice to have, but the real reason we go here is another node, multiplying squalls. This node gives us +2 to the limit of the elemental skill. And this is very important for this build, because many elemental skills have a limit of 1. For example, normally you can only have one Frost Bomb or one Firestorm active at the same time. With multiplying squalls, we can have more instances active at once, which means more damage, more hits, and more elemental effects happening at the same time. So this node is not just a small bonus. This is one of the key pieces that makes this build work properly. And we're gonna use Dark Refrain on our Firestorm, which makes our Firestorm echo 3 times, and Overabundance support, which gives us +1 limit. So we actually can have 4 storms running at the same time. Also, Firestorm will consume your fire, ice, and lightning infusions. And consuming all 3 elemental infusions by Firestorm, it becomes much stronger. The storm gets bigger, hits harder, and deals significantly more damage. So how do we generate a lot of infusions? The answer is Frost Bomb with Spell Cascade support. Because of multiplying skulls, Frost Bomb gets +2 to its limit, so we can have 3 Frost Bombs active at the same time. Each one can generate a cold infusion. Then, because of refracted infusion, when we collect this cold infusion, we also get a random infusion of other element. Then the infusion will appear after a few seconds again. So with one button we generate 3 cold infusion and extra infusions on top, and that is a lot of infusions from a single skill. As you can see, when I cast Firestorm and consume the infusions, I instantly generate 8 power charges. And how it's done? It's simple. I have this notable infusion of power on weapon set 2. Yeah, I know, this sounds complicated. Weapon sets, infusions, remnants, power charges, mana stacking, it sounds like a lot. But in practice, the gameplay is much simpler. Let me show you how the setup actually works. Press Frost Bomb, press Firestorm, and in 1 second we generated maximum power charges. Simple as that. Next step, switch to our weapon set 1 while we have our maximum power charges, and use Pinnacle of Power to consume these power charges. Like this. And now we have our Pinnacle of Power on our damaging weapon set for a minute and a half. So our gameplay loop is minute and a half. Sometimes it's around 3 minutes, I will explain why. Pinnacle of Power is linked with heightened charges support, so it has 20% chance to double the effect. If it procs, we get double damage and the duration. My main clear skill is Ice Nova. It consumes ice infusions, and it's only on weapon set 1, so whenever I use it, I want to be sure it's on my damaging weapon set. Frost Bomb is only on weapon set 2, so when I press it, I switch to infusion and power charge generating weapon set. And Firestorm is on both weapon sets, so I can use Firestorm on weapon set 2 for power charges generation by consuming infusion from Frost Bomb, or as my main huge damage per second skill. Let's get back to our passive skill tree and let's discuss weapon sets. Weapon set 2 is green and weapon set 1 is red. So, weapon set 2 is for power charges generation. Here we have additional power charge generated. Here we have more power charges, more power charges, more power charges, and some quality of life for our infusions. And here we have power charges generation by consuming infusions. And small duration notable look allocated here, but it makes no difference actually. Let's switch to damaging weapon set 1. Here we have area of effect. Here we have area damage and knockback. It's just pushing our enemies during the firestorm and slows them down. Here we have some cast speed on critical and some additional critical hit chance, which is good. Here we have some interesting cluster, which increases our elemental damage if we freeze, shock and ignite our enemies. More critical chance here. Crit chance and triggered skills here. And triggered skills improvement here. And here we have important time lost jewel. I don't know why it's not displaying its radius. Wait a second. Okay. So this jewel gives us mana and increased intelligence, and that's why we have a lot of allocated notables in this huge cluster. For example, this one gives us extra fire damage against frozen enemies. This one gives us increased spell damage if we consume with elemental infusion. Or this one, extra damage and unaffected by the shocked ground. Or similar one, this extra cold damage and unaffected by the chilled ground. But these two notables are bugged and they are not working. Please GG, fix it. This is unaffected. I want to be unaffected. With this one I have a chance to Remnant give me effect twice, like life and mana remnants. Here I have my damage penetration cluster and my protection layer, mind over matter. All damage is taken from mana before life. And here I have Eldritch Battery, which makes my energy shield converted to mana, but mana cost is doubled. Here I have spell damage per mana and increased mana. A little bit more intelligence and skill effect duration, just quality of life and more stats. Currently I'm level 95 and in next 3 levels I plan to reach this level socket, but maybe in 2 levels, because I can unallocate this one small passive to get it faster. Still not sure what I'm gonna use here, but probably Megalomaniac Diamond from Delirium to get a few random passive skills. Let's quickly do a T15 map with 2 tablets. So the area level gonna be level 80. And that's how it works. Again, generate infusions, consume this firestorm, and switch weapon set, and consume the power charges. Now we have buff, we got lucky, it's 3 minutes. Let's do it again, just for the showcase. We got bridge here, let's open it, use firestorm, it's gonna clear everything. At the end, bridge gonna spawn 4 rare monsters, so I'm gonna use firestorm here. It's gonna kill everything. And for a boss, we're gonna use Firestorm because Frost Nova is not doing a lot of boss damage, and this just melts any boss. One more breach. Few small things I want to mention. It's Arbit Recognition Support gem in my Elemental Storm skill, so I can gain Elemental Archon when I ignite enemy, just 3 damage. I have Hatal's Rejuvenation Support gem here on my Life Remnant, so when I collect remnants I got my cooldowns decreased. Also on my custom ailment Meteor I have Atauli Blooderine. It's just life tap, but doing more damage as extra physical damage. It's not working during Elemental Archon, but it's just better version of life tap. And here one more interesting thing with infusions. So combat fire infused, so it's consuming fire infusions to deal more damage. I have Living Bomb in my custom critical that can generate fire infusion, and I have Frost Wall that can consume lightning infusion, so it's just infusion producing and consuming loop that helps a lot on bosses. And actually this build is not min-maxed yet. Let me show you something. So here I have Rite of Passage Golden Charm, possessed by the spirit of the Primate, which helps me with freeze build up and increased damage. Super cheap gloves with damage conversion and more damage, and also a life cost efficiency gem. Yeah, something like this. Also it has cast speed. Alpha Howl gives me mana, spirit, cold resistance, presence, radius. This gives me crit, mana, spirit, resistance, mana and some armor, move speed, energy shield, resistances. Energy shield is converted back to mana, so more energy shield, more mana. And my emote is bad because I want plus level to all skills and I want increased maximum mana percent, like here on the ring. Also I want chaos resistance on the ring. The second ring is terrible, it just has mana. Okay, I want both to be breach rings. Okay, and maybe that's all. No, I can replace this one to something like double socket, double corrupted, sacred flame. Currently in my build I'm using Blasphemy with Elemental Weakness and Magnified Area, but I could use Sacred Flame, which makes enemies in our presence resist elemental damage based on their lowest elemental resistance. Also it has a lot of extra fire damage on top. So there is a lot of room for some improvements, but this build already cleared all the content in the game. I spent 3 days making this video. Thanks for watching. Press a like button and have fun.